I love my HBCU. And boy, I love it, love it. I love it, love it. I love my HBCU. And man, I hope my team they won one. I hope my team they won one. Yeah, man. I hope my team they won one. I hope my team they won one. I tune into the HBCU Sports Lab to see if my team won or lost. If they lost, I'm quiet as a mouse. But if they won, keep tab. I'ma do the dab, yeah. Dr. Cavil, he know what he be talking about. Mike and Charles, they know what they be talking about. They compress the analytic data with the hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they won or lost, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
Welcome to episode 676 of Dr. Cavil's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab radio show and podcast, the show that's covering the HBCU sporting diaspora, all things HBCU sports, for institutions large and small, from the NAIA to the NCAA. We share insights and information on the HBCU sports culture and HBCU athletic aesthetics to facilitate the story of HBCU athletic programs and the business of HBCU sports. I'm your host, David L. Rhodes, and we got my man from the HU Power Ship, Tariq Wilson, and Jeff Johnson continues to be on assignment, and we might have Brandon King later in the show. We are filming from our home studios live and sending the signal live to our KCO's 12:30 a.m. studios with the Texas Radio Hall of Famer Ralph Cooper in the beautiful home of Texas Southern University from Houston, Texas. Mr. Wilson, how you doing, sir?
Doing well, man. I didn't think I could make it tonight, but you know, daddy duty, I'm like in between. I'm in the car as a son takes some lessons, so getting it done.
Nothing wrong with that, my man. So it's funny because I am in transition right now. I have moved. I made the decision to downsize, and I'm questioning that decision as the boxes are still behind me.
Are you still in Rhode Island?
I am right down the street from where I was living before. I literally gave my keys up yesterday. I gave the keys up to my old place yesterday. Had the movers come over the weekend. And I've been unboxing. It's gonna be a process. My daughter's here. She's starting to prepare for college. She got her schedule already. You know what I'm saying? So she's rocking from a college standpoint. So she's
That's
staying
awesome.
with me. Yeah, she's staying with me for now until time to go to college, and then we'll pack her up, and then she'll take train trips whenever she wants to come home. But other than that, man, how you doing, sir?
Doing well. Busy, man. Got a lot. I'm preparing for a move myself, but it's a cross country move. Nah, actually, where am I moving? Moving up to New York. So,
oh wow, you're gonna be in my parts. You're gonna be in my parts.
Yeah, man. Yes, gonna be in the city.
Are you going to the city?
Yeah, gonna be in Manhattan.
Oh, that means what that means. You can't hire money, Reed. You can't hire money, Reed. You gonna be in Manhattan?
Yeah, man.
Oh, that's what's up.
Yeah. So that's it'll be a good. So I'm really invested in Hampton staying in CIAA too. So if I can go watch all the games up there, they better not leave.
They're not. I don't think they're gonna leave. All right. So normally we would go over the news right now, but I'm not gonna have Reek for a long period of time. So I want to discuss with him the top 7, get his perspective on it. From an independent HBCU perspective, I have my thoughts, and I kind of put it on Twitter. I kind of didn't name names, but I guess now that we're going to show the 7, I guess we'll dabble a little bit in the names category. But a lot of folks got real sensitive when I said what I said on Twitter regarding the list.
Yeah, you could. I'm interested. I'm not on Twitter, but I would love to hear what you said, because I'm sure probably echo some of my thoughts.
The tweet I said, and I didn't name names. The tweet I basically said was, I don't understand how an AD didn't win any championship this year makes this list.
Oh, wow.
That's what I said. That's what I said. And there were 2 schools that kind of went after me a little bit.
Were the hit dogs hollering?
They were hollering a little bit.
Okay.
And then they were like, well, you just want your guy there. And I'm like, nah, there's other guys. I got other thoughts, but let's get into it. All right. Number 7 was Trevion Scott from Grambling. I'll be honest, man. I think we could have probably put somebody else here. Potentially. There's a few folks that come to mind, like an Anton Goff from Prairie View, a Paul Bryant. Like, I just felt like there were other options here with regards to that. But he's number 7. And this is, by the way, this is Dr. Cavil's list. He went over this last week. This is my first time giving my thoughts on it from a live perspective. What's going on, Kelly? Reek, you there, man? He done blacked out. Uh-oh, you're dealing with something. All right. I'll while we can do that, I'm gonna continue on. So number 6 was Dr. Perkins from that school down the road. This was the I'll be honest, this is the AD I threw the shade at, but it's a rivalry thing too. But they did not win the championships this year, so I was kind of wondering how they ended up with them on the list. I know there was probably other metrics involved, but I think they were close in some areas, but there was some where they weren't really that competitive at all. But I think that should be a stronger metric about winning championships. I know some things are weighed higher than others, but I think if you got to win some championships during the year to be in the top 7, in my opinion. I mean, there's too many good programs out there to not try to get like at least one in my personal opinion. Roman Banks, number 5. I could see him being potentially lower on this list. But I probably would put, once again, I will put Anton Goff and what's going on? Welcome back, Reek.
Yep.
This list. We'll go over the folks that we just left, because I'm gonna be honest. Overall, from the top 7 perspective, the only issues I really had was these three on the list, because I think I would put an argument for a Paul Bryant, Anton Goff, Earl Hilton. I think what your AD's doing right now, Anthony Henderson's doing a phenomenal job right now, considering what he walked into.
Yep.
So I just think there were other folks who could have made the call here. So what are your thoughts on 7, 6, and 5?
I would like to know what's the rationale behind the rankings, like, or the formula. Do you know that?
It was something to the from what I understand, Dr. Cavil, he did it it was done based on certain sports were weighed heavier than others, like football, basketball. Those were weighed heavier than some of the others, and championships was a factor as well. Like he didn't like go over like the whole equation. I just felt like I think if you didn't win a chip, I don't know why you would be on the 7. Like I would put an argument for soccer. Like I was going back and forth with Josh from HBCU Nightly about what about Buddy Pugh, and he was like, well, he was temporary, and I'm like, well, how about South Carolina State AD? Because they've won a couple championships. They won in football. They were competitive in basketball. They won. They always win tennis on both men and the women's side. They were competitive in softball. Like, how about him? How about just call it SC State AD?
Yeah, it's weird.
So.
Yeah, something's wrong. Like, I keep losing you for a couple seconds, so I may not have heard. I didn't hear what you said. I'm not sure if I'm blanking out, but
no, you're good.
There's nothing that any one of these schools did that stood out to me athletically.
I mean, I could probably put an argument.
Central had a good football season. That was great.
They didn't win a championship all year.
Right.
They won a championship all year. Southern, I could see staying on the list. I just wouldn't have them as high as 5. Like I would probably put Earl ahead of him for sure. Like I think if I would probably put Earl at probably 5. Because I don't have an issue with the top 4. I think Kerry Davis should be higher personally, but I know how you feel about the other HU, but I think she should be higher.
I give props to Howard when they do stuff. When Howard does well, I'll give him props. Yeah.
No, they've been winning championships in multiple conferences. So
what kills Earl, like since football is still kind of king with that season, that's probably what hurts Earl.
I mean, that hurts him, but also you got to give some credit. Well, give some credit getting that pain away too, right?
That's true.
And they've won multiple, and he's won multiple championships in the conference. He won a championship in the MEAC. There's a school up here that didn't do that. He's won championships in the CIAA. He won a national title. They won the HBCU national title in golf. Won the women's side did. Won. I mean, cheerleading's part of athletics. They won they back-to-back national titles in that 4 coach of the years. I
Yeah.
got a resume to say why he should be in the top 7.
Yeah,
Just,
that was my beef. I thought Howard or not Howard, Hampton or A&T could have had an entry here. Either one, I mean, because both athletic programs are competitive in the CAA and not just competitive winning in certain sports. And a lot of folks said that wasn't going to happen, especially this quickly. So I think there should be some recognition of that on this list.
yeah, that's where I was at. Like, I think if you're gonna go off championships, then it's kind of tough to not to put Earl there.
Right.
And with Anthony Henderson, considering what he walked into, because he had a lot of things to clean up at Hampton, man. I don't think it was covered enough about some of the challenges that Hampton has had.
Well, no, it wasn't, boy. A lot of it, if there was real media coverage, you'd be like, whoa.
Yeah, nah, yeah,
Whoa.
like A.D. Henderson was going through the ringer.
Yeah, man.
Norfolk State at number 3.
No, it's
Norfolk,
just because they're successful. I ain't gonna hate.
oh no. I mean, like I said, I didn't have an issue with the 4. We can argue the order. Like, I probably would put Kerry Davis ahead of Melody, but 80 Webb. But I'm not mad at the top 4. The top 4 tracks.
Mhm.
I stand by that. Like, I think the only thing I would switch in the top 4, I would put Kerry Davis at 3 and Webb at 4. Number 2 is Jason Cable. He won the Commissioner's Cup. They won the Commissioner's Cup at Alabama State. So they, from a championship standpoint, they always do it. Alabama State always does an outstanding job in that regard. They're competitive in a lot of sports. They do what they need to do from that regard. And AD Cable, Dr. Cable, he's very progressive, and he doesn't have a problem raising ticket prices, doing what you got to do to build funds and fundraise. So I respect what Dr. Cable has done from that regard. So,
yep, and they got nice facilities.
Yeah, they got phenomenal facilities. Them and Prairie View's probably got the best 2 in all HBCU, and some in all FCS.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the football team is one sport. I mean, we play about, I think we play 16 sports. It's one sport. It's one sport. So, the football team was bad. I ain't gonna lie. There ain't no question about that. The football team was awful. But, we'll see what happens next year. I think, when you talk about all the championships, considering what the track team was able to do and to get more players qualified for regionals and nationals than any other HBCU. But yeah. And the last one is Ashley Robinson, which I'm not shocked by one bit. If he wanted to be a commissioner for a conference, he could be. He's good. He's that good. He's good at what he does. He knows how to fundraise. He covers the gauntlet from that standpoint. Jackson State has been on a trajectory since he's been in the AD. I know a lot of folks want to talk about Dion, but he's done a pretty good job hiring the women's basketball coach, basketball and men's basketball coach. He knows how to hire the talent he needs to do. So what are your thoughts about this 7?
Yeah, at the top 4, pretty solid. The back 3, that's a little questionable. I do think there should be an honorable mention.
Who are you thinking, sir?
The FAMU AD.
Yeah. He got
just for dealing with them jokers, man. I don't even know who it is, but anybody who takes that job down there deserves some honorable mention. If you take a FAMU job, then you deserve something.
And all jokes aside, though, during this period, FAMU has done pretty good from an athletic standpoint. You could have an argument you can put an argument for FAMU AD as well. I know they had 2 ADs over the year, but you can have a legitimate argument for that. I mean, the women's basketball program has improved. The men's basketball, now even though they kind of snuffed the coach, but the men's basketball program improved. They had the most wins they've had ever. Football team was still decent. Baseball still good. Volleyball, they won volleyball if I recall. So like they do what they need to do. They've won a couple championships this year. So FAMU AD, I know part of the reason why they probably similar to South Carolina State, right? Because they had some turnover during that period. So I did the same thing with SC State, man, because I could argue SC State and FAMU being on this list.
Now, like, why SC State? What'd they do?
I mean, I told you, man, they won football. Oh yeah, you were out when I said it. They won football. They went to Celebration Bowl, and if it's weighed heavily, I mean that would make some sense. Tennis, they've done tennis, and they've been competitive in multiple sports. So they almost won. They almost had that miracle in the softball tournament, in the MEAC softball tournament. They made it to the finals. And they were competitive in men's basketball as well. So they've Tucker, I'd say they had a pretty good year overall, considering all the turnover that was happening. I would put South Carolina State athletics there. I wouldn't be mad at that. Like I just think that, I think winning the championship should have a little bit more weight on it. I know football's king. I know basketball's important, but I think winning chips is important.
Yep. Winning chips and staying out of APR and eligibility issues.
I will give the school down the road that credit. I mean, they've done a tremendous job from an APR standpoint down in the school down the road. I'll give them that credit. But they still didn't win no championships this year. But I will give them that credit. Yeah, bro. I the bottom three, I could replace all three of them. I'm cool with. I could probably live with Southern being there, but Southern would be at 7. I mean, these three I can swap easily.
Yeah, that's as much as I can give to this list. It's top 4 are pretty solid.
Yeah. The top 4, no arguments, because I think Howard and Norfolk are the cream of the crop from an athletic standpoint in the MEAC. And you could probably say the same thing about Jackson and Alabama State. They're the cream of the crop from an athletic standpoint when you talk about all the sports, right? Those 4 programs are the cream of the crop from that standpoint. No doubt in my mind. All right. So we're gonna take a break. Are you gonna be able to make it back, Reek? Are you good?
Yep. Yeah, I got to jump off about 7:25 or so.
All right. Let me see if I can try to get a break.
Or 7:28.
All right,
7:28. I can go that far.
Let's hop on the break, man, because I got some questions for you when we get after break. So we'll be right back. This is Dr. Phil's HBCU inside HBCU Sports Lab. Let me see. Do a shorter one this time.
I'm returning to Clinton Parish, and Tampa's my community. I grew up here, went to school here, and my wife and I make our home here. What makes Tampa special are its people. So when I represent someone injured in my community, it's personal. Call my office and speak to a real lawyer and not some referral service. I will fight the insurance companies to get the settlement that you deserve. At the law office of Clinton Parish, we take the pain out of being heard.
It's never too early to plant the seed, to share the tradition, and instill a sense of pride in your HBCU with your little ones. HBCU Pride and Joy Children's Boutique helps you share your school spirit with a wide selection of adorable kids apparel and accessories officially licensed from your favorite HBCU. Visit hbcupridejoy.com and follow us on all social media at HBCU Pride Joy on Facebook and Twitter.
Sugar Chateau Desserts is a specialty bakery located in the Charlotte, North Carolina metro area. We will create delicious and one-of-a-kind treats for any occasion. Sugar Chateau is currently shipping cakes in a jar, offering a variety of different flavors in a single-serve container that can help you celebrate in accordance with social distancing. Place your orders today by calling 803-526-7895 or visiting sugarchateaudesserts.com.
You're looking for the latest information on Southern University sports, the Southwestern Athletic Conference, and HBCU athletics. There's only one place to go. Tune in to the Carlos Brown Show, exclusively on the Black College Sports Network.
Attention football fans. The Cricket MEAC SWAC Challenge kickoff is back in Atlanta on August 23rd. Representing the MEAC, North Carolina Central, and representing the SWAC Southern. Join us at Center Park Stadium for a full day of tailgating, football, and bands. For more information and tickets, visit MEACSWACChallenge.com.
Compress the analytic data with your hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they want a lot, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
Welcome back to Dr. Cavil's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab, episode 676. This is the Indy Report. All right, man. So we were on No Chill Sports the other week, and I thought that was great.
That was cool.
That was cool. It's too bad I was on a train and I kept going in and out, but I thought that was a good show. So recently, Josh from the school down the road on HBCU Nightly and my boy Banks, who I do a show with on MD, they were on the show to talk about the school down the road in Morgan State. And of course, you knew that they were going to ask the question about MEAC versus SWAC. And my buddy Banks said Josh was talking about this church analogy about, when it comes to football, the MEAC is where it is. And then Banks said something to the effect of, since we're talking about a church analogy, the SWAC is like praise and worship. And to the point where like they're not really like thinking about like the sermon and the thing that matters from that regard, right? And so what I want to ask you is, because I know you said you got to go in a couple of minutes. So what I want to ask you is, do you think the SWAC is caught up with the MEAC from a football standpoint?
No.
You don't think so?
No. I mean, I guess total conference, no. I mean, when you can have an outlier who is really spectacular and can win, but I think top to bottom, not yet.
But what about when we talk about the top of the top? Like if you're talking about the top three teams in the MEAC versus the top three teams in the SWAC.
Oh, yeah, that's competitive.
Yeah, that's where I'm at, right? Because I think there was a time where that wasn't always the case over the past couple of years, right? But I will. And I said this on Twitter, and I'll go in and say it here. Since the MEAC went down to 6 football programs in the Celebration Bowl, the MEAC is 2-2. In the MEAC SWAC Challenge, the MEAC is 1-3. Now
the numbers don't lie then.
Yeah, I expect the school down the road to beat Southern into the MEAC SWAC Challenge. So it'll end up being 2. It'll be 2-3 at this point. I expect, unless something crazy happens. And we got Brandon King here, so I can ask him the same question. Mr. King, how you doing, sir?
What's going on, good brother?
You are driving.
Man. Yeah, you crazy.
Don't be looking. Don't look. Just
man, don't look.
I ask questions, you answer, because I don't want to be held responsible. I see some crazy angles going on in your vehicle. You might have kids in the car, so we ain't gonna do that today. So I just asked Tariq about the MEAC SWAC. Do you think the SWAC is caught up in the MEAC from a football standpoint at this point?
I'll say it's kind of still too early to judge. I know when we look at some people use the Celebration Bowl as a barometer. I think the overall perception is that the MEAC is still an overall physical league, and that's why I won't say usually, but more often than not, they come away with wins in the Celebration Bowl. I will need to see how the MEAC SWAC Challenge works, and then just any, if you have interconference games. I will say the SWAC has closed the gap, but I don't think they're quite there yet.
Yeah, that's fair. And before you got on, they're 2-2 since the MEAC has gone down to 6 teams in the Celebration Bowl. The joke I'm going to probably start doing is A&T 4, Elite 8, 2, SWAC 3. That's the score chart for the Celebration Bowl right now. That's what the score chart is.
I see what you did there. I see what you did there.
Because they always have a habit of not trying to count our wins anyway. So you know what? I'll just go ahead and put it over there to the side. Just put it right there. Put it right there to remind you that when you go look at that trophy, 4 out of the first plates that are on that trophy says North Carolina A&T State University.
Hey. And can't argue with that. It was like the Aggie Invitational for a stretch time then.
It was the Aggie Invitational till we left, and then it became the Celebration Bowl again. And it's still that game too, because a lot of Aggies still go to that game. So, because there's a pretty strong Atlanta presence. That ain't a lot of alumni from A&T is in the Atlanta area, so they still go to that game. We still go to it. We still get Hall of Famers, so we go to it. A band of the year, we've been in there both band of the years, and we go. But anywho, because it's an interesting debate. But then when you start looking at the numbers, man, I think the gap has closed, especially on the top. Like I think Jackson State's right now is the best one in the bunch right now from that standpoint.
Yeah, they're tough.
Like I like it. And I know that Jackson State just had a tussle with Southern Miss on Twitter as well this week, and they get to play each other this year, so it's going to be fascinating to see. Because if they find a way to pull that upset, undefeated ain't out of the question.
Man, if they beat Southern Miss, then can beat Southern Miss, so there's no real hope for Hampton of beating them.
Well, Hampton's first up, so you better catch them now. Right. But I'm saying if they beat y'all and then they go over to Southern Miss and win that, they gonna run the table, man.
Yeah, they do that. Barring injury, I can't see anybody in the SWAC touching them. At least not this season.
I think PV's a year away.
You took the words right out of my mouth.
Year away, bro. I could see them still win the West too, but PV's a year away. They are 1 year away. They're a year away, man.
They just got to hold on to their guys. That's the problem. So,
but I'm not too worried about PV from a financial standpoint. I'm not too worried there. I think they're gonna have the money to do what they got to do, and they got the coach.
Got some NIL money.
Yeah, I'm not too worried there. I'm not too concerned there at all. We just took a coach from PV too. We just took their golf coach from PV.
Good job.
So, I'm kind of happy too, because I know initially when we were hiring coaches, we were out here trying to get coaches with CAA experience, and we saw how that worked out. We got 2 coaches right now with the CAA experience. We already had to let one go. Another one's on thin ice. So I'd rather you just go get somebody that can actually coach.
There you go.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So that's where I'm at with regards to that. But I think from the standpoint of what happens now, like I know School Down the Road's got to play Southern, and they're also playing FAMU this year. So they're gonna go against. They're playing 2 SWAC opponents this year. So that's
pretty cool, actually.
Yeah. I know they've been trying to play FAMU for a while now. So so we probably will get a better barometer of the MEAC SWAC. But then again, like
Hey fellas, I hate to interrupt, but I gotta jump off.
Nah, I know.
Yep.
We reached your time. Appreciate it, Reef, for coming, man. Have a good one.
It's been a blast.
Yes, sir.
Fellas. Yeah.
All right, take care.
But when you take into account, like, it is pretty cool that they're scheduling those folks, but when you take into account like the rest of the conference, it's gonna be interesting to see what Norfolk does. It's gonna be interesting to see what Dell State can do. It's South Carolina State, I think, is gonna probably take a little bit of a step back.
I agree.
Yeah, and then you got Morgan. Morgan could win that conference, man. They could win the MEAC. They just got to find an offense. Like, they just got to find an offense.
Yeah. Why does it kept, I think, for the past year or two, they've really just been like a quarterback away from really being a force in the MEAC. That's all that they really needed. And you see it with the level of defense that they play. If they just had an offense that could give them something, particularly at the quarterback position, which thank goodness for the rest of the MEAC, I'm sure. But if they get that guy under center, then they'll definitely have something to say about who comes out of the MEAC before it's all said and done.
Yeah, I mean, School Down the Road, every time they win the MEAC, well, since since 2020. They haven't been. They have not. The only school that's been able to run the table in the MEAC since 2020 has been South Carolina State. Everybody else, they end up with a loss, and there's some level of a tiebreaker. And South Carolina State did it both times they went to the Celebration Bowl. They went undefeated. They went 5-0 both times. So it's going to be fascinating to see, because that's why, like, the thing. Even though people have jokes about the fact that the MEAC only got 5 conference games, but that means every game counts. Who you beat matters.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so you can't sleep a single week when conference play begins. Now going back to the SWAC, man, they got some new coaches in the conference. You got Sam Shea for Alabama A&M. They're gonna be an approved football team, but he needs another year, man, to be competitive, to try to catch up to Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
I think FAMU, I could see them taking a little bit of a step back, but I think it's Jackson's to lose at this point.
It is.
You know.
I think, like I said, because there's so much uncertainty around so many of the top teams, or just other teams in general. Like I said, it's gonna take them some time to get up and running out in TV and A&M. FAMU is sticking with the quarterback position. They're going to have to try to re-sign that guy again. I really agree. And you look at Grambling. You don't know what's going on with them. Southern. I don't know. Shoot, they'll mess around and backdoor their way into the SWAC championship game again somehow.
Yeah, Southern could sneak. Southern, I could see Southern winning the West, but I'm picking Prairie View, but I could see Southern winning it. I wouldn't be surprised if it happens.
I wouldn't be at all.
Kelly, and the thing the thing that's wild about Morgan's inability to find a quarterback is that they didn't really have like quarterback challenges. Like Damon didn't really have quarterback challenges when he was at Bowie. So that's why I'm so confused of why they can't get a guy under center that can get this done. And I don't think they need much. They just need somebody that can just, sustain drives for a little bit. Give the defense some rest. That's it.
A serviceable guy.
That's it. A Trent Dilfer. Like, just give me a Trent Dilfer. Somebody that can just manage the game. That's it.
Yeah.
That's like absolutely the only reason why it's going to be tough for me to pick those guys. I'm going to have to pick my rival because I can't trust nobody else at this point. I can see Morgan doing it, and I don't. And Norfolk State and Michael Vick's a wild card. Delaware State is a wild card.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just I can't. I gotta default to those guys down in Durham. It's just unfortunate. It's just an unfortunate set of circumstances. But I am serious. If somebody else stops those guys from winning the MEAC, I will be sending a donation to your institution.
You heard it here first, folks.
I said it on Twitter, so I'm gonna put it on wax here too. I will be sending a donation to the institution. Even if it's those freaking Bulldogs down in Orangeburg, I will send a donation to your institution if it happens. If one of y'all can stop it. So all right, on that note, so we kind of did the show backwards today. When we come back after the break, I want to get your thoughts on the top 7 since you missed it, and then we can close out the show, and maybe we'll talk about a little bit of news. All right, so we'll be right back.
want him?
Ooh, I like him.
Quick, the quicker picker-upper. Bounty picks up messes quicker, and each sheet is 2 times more absorbent, so you can use less.
He's an 8.
He's a 9.
Bounty, the quicker picker-upper.
This is Brian Fulford. AD Drew and I are co-hosts of the BCSN Sports Lab. We talk about all things related to HBCU athletics. From the games, teams, coaches, and fan interest stories, we cover it all. You can find our shows on Facebook at BCSN Sports Lab, YouTube at MyJBN Online, and everywhere you listen to podcasts like Anchor, Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. You can also find the show on the Jericho Broadcast Network's app. Make sure to download. We look forward to you joining the conversation and being a part of the show.
This is the Dean of the College of HBCU Sports, Kenyatta Cavil of Dr. Cavil's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Come mix it up in the lab where the course lecture is in session every Tuesday from 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time on Facebook Live, YouTube Spreaker, or the BCSN app. As we discuss all things about the HBCU sports culture, including exploring the week that was in the sporting HBCU diaspora, as well as the upcoming week of HBCU sports. With me, the Dean, the College of HBCU Sports, on Dr. Cavil's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Course lecture dismissed.
Football fans, HBCU football is back in the ATL with the Cricket MEAC SWAC Challenge Kickoff. Representing the MEAC, North Carolina Central, and representing the SWAC, Southern, Eagles, Jaguars, the Marching Sound Machine, the Human Jukebox. The kickoff trophy is up for grabs, and bragging rights are on the line. The rivalry is real. Bring the family and join us pre-game for the fun-filled Coca-Cola fan experience, including band jamborees, food, activations, and fellowship. For tickets and information, visit MEACSWACChallenge.com.
Compress the analytic data with your hip-hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they wanna lose, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
Welcome back to Dr. Cavil's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab, episode 676. This is the Indy Report. Shout out to you, sir, for writing an article on the top 7. You know what the 7 are.
Yeah.
So I want your thoughts. Where are you at with the 7? Where are you at with it?
I'll say this. I know we talked about it a little off here. I don't have a problem with the first 3 or 4. Maybe even 5 with Roman Banks. But I think my main issue, maybe I would slightly change the order, but number 7, no business on that list. I would remove number 7 quick, fast, and in a hurry. And there's a lot of other ADs that I would put on that list, and for a lot of reasons. Look, I tried to stay positive with these to explain perhaps why, they had the placing that they had from that standpoint, and it's not to say that there aren't necessarily some good things happening at Grambling, from particularly from a student athlete academic standpoint. But like I said from the thing, not only, but they're an athletic program that there's a lot of uncertainty there. Mm-hmm. You don't know. You've got a new basketball coach coming in. And coming off that year at FAMU where you both the new coach and the lame duck coach at the same time. It's hard to build a program when the players don't know if you're going to be here next year. So he really coached last season with his one hand tied behind his back. With Mickey Joseph and the football program that comes off a 3-8 season, and already there's rumblings about that. You've got women's basketball coach, Coach Simmons. There seems to be potentially some good things cooking there. So I think this third season for her is going to be, nut-cutting time for her because You win 20 games your first season, you take a slight step back in the second season. So this season is really going to be where you're going to be able to see if she's really going to be able to steer that program back in the right direction. But I think when you just look at some of the other things and talk about it, I didn't think that Dr. Scott had handled the Hugh Jackson situation correctly at all. You know, that situation with the volleyball team and that was, when you get on ESPN as an HBCU for all the wrong reasons,
Yeah,
you know,
man.
there's got to be some people that's got to be held to account for that, because it was just a bad look all the way around. And when you have those type of, I think, black eyes or black marks on your resume, I don't know if that's really giving you a place on that prestigious list. But it was, for me, and I'm several other spot and definitely some honorable mentions. So I know I went on long enough, so
I had my spill about it. So you ain't gotta tell me twice, right? I had my thoughts on who should have been on the list and who shouldn't have been on the list. I think the big thing for me was 7 and 6 for sure. 5, I can see it both ways, but I just, like I said earlier in the show, I felt like, you know, 7 and 6 were tough for me considering some of the other jobs that some ADs have done, and some institutions where they even had some instability at ADs that still were able to get it done and win some championships. So like a South Carolina State, like a FAMU. I mean, A&T won a few. I mean, so like I could argue all of them with regards to that. I could argue Hampton, considering the mess that they had to clean up, and them still being able to get their first championship in that conference. Like, I could argue a few. And I think I like the trajectory that Paul Bryant's doing over in Alabama A&M. I think I like what I'm seeing out of Anton Goff in Prairie View. Like, I just think there were other options on this list that could have been had on the bottom 2 or 3. Like I'm cool with keeping 80 Banks there, but I just felt like there were other options in the bottom side of this list. The top 4, I'm not debating. There's no ifs, ands, or buts for me from the top 4. I think those 4 are the cream of the crop from that standpoint. I think they're all doing an awesome job.
I think,
I'm not going to debate the top 4. The top 4 are pretty clear for me.
Yeah, and and I'm assuming this is all, it's major division. So I'm interested to see, what the mid-majors are going to look like. But yeah, I figured you'd have a problem with 6.
I mean, he ain't win no chips, man. They ain't win no championships this year.
That's true.
I mean, they didn't win any championships. Oh, so I'm not disagreeing with numero uno. I think it's clear as day that Ashley Robinson is number 1.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, it is a year range from 2024 and 2025. So if you're going to go off base of what they did that year, I don't understand how you don't have A&T's Earl Hilton on this list. I just don't. I don't understand. I mean, but, I got to probably have to make my own list. That's what you got to do, man. When you don't like a list, you make your own list.
I mean, look, honorable mention. You know what? I know I have on a Albany State cap right now, but I think Dr. Allen could at least got some honorable mention to at least be in the contention for number 7.
Who are you talking about?
Our AD.
Oh yeah. Nah, I mean, you could.
But I mean, I wouldn't put him over, like I said, a Goff or Dr. Bryant at A&M. I think that the job, particularly Dr. Bryant. I think why am I drawing a blank? on basketball coach. Why am I drawing a blank on it right now?
I know who you're talking about too. I can't remember it myself. I'm so sorry, man.
Why am I? Because I mean, that was an absolute home run hot. Home. And forgive me, Bulldog Nation. I don't know why I'm drawing a blank right now. It could be because I'm driving. I'm just coming from the game. It didn't go the way I wanted. I'm a little mad right now. But I think when you look at just from the hiring that he's done, and he's got that program, the overall direction of that athletic program in the right direction. I mean, if someone could ever pry him away, they're getting a good one. So, I mean, it would be very easy to slot either one of those guys that you mentioned in at
Don Thornton.
Thank you. Please forgive me. But I mean, like I said, there's some other guys and girls out there that's doing a great job. So I would reconfigure that list. You know, I definitely think that Dr. Bryant would find his way on, without a doubt.
Oh yeah, he'll be on that list. He should be on that list next year. I think the championships are coming for him. He's doing all the right things at Alabama A&M. I mean, I know at some point our AD is going to retire, and I've already been on record saying, "Go get Paul. Go get Paul. Go get Dr. Bryant." Sorry, A&M. Go get him. Whenever Earl make the decision to move on and retire, you got to go get somebody that's ready to rock. And I think Dr. Bryant is outstanding at what he does, what he's doing at Alabama A&M.
I look at it for me, when you look at these, one of the defining things for me is, would I want you to be the athletic director at my school?
Mm-hmm.
And if that answer is yes, then you should be on the list. Period. You look at any of the, particularly the top four, would I take them at Tennessee State in a heartbeat? Dr. Allen. Would I take Paul Bryant? Absolutely. Would I take golf? Absolutely. What are we at, 6 already?
You wouldn't take Earl, man? You wouldn't take Earl? Football program gonna struggle a little bit, but I mean, he was also there when they were winning all the Celebration Bowls too. So you got to take the good with the bad. I mean, the man's been there for almost like 15 years. Like he's gotten more. This is probably the greatest run in A&T's athletics history from a championship standpoint, considering the Olympians that he's brought, the Olympians and all the national titles that they've won. So, I mean, but he's about to retire. He's going to be retired in a couple years, I would assume. So,
look, time to dust off the short list of guys and girls to come in as his replacement.
Oh yeah, man. I mean, I don't know if it's imminent, but I just, he's been working at A&T since I was a student, and I started 25 years ago. So he's already got his pension. His pension is done.
Well,
he's doing this to have fun at this point. Like I'm just like that's just what it is. Like he's doing it to have fun at this point. He's been an employee at the institution for over 25 years.
Well, I suppose that's not a bad place to be. You're doing it for fun rather than like looking over your shoulder, so to speak.
Yeah, because we just hired the golf coach. And shout out to Misha Levister. She is now the director of golf at North Carolina A&T. She is the first female coach to coach a male team because she's going to be coaching men's golf and women's golf.
All right, congratulations!
So shout out to her. We got her for Prairie View A&M. She did graduate from the school down the road, but we'll forgive her for that. We got a couple Eagles on our coaching staffs around here, so it is what it is from that regard. But
y'all are rehabbing them.
I mean, she did an outstanding job at Prairie View.
So y'all just showing them the light.
She wanted to come home. She wanted to come home, and nothing wrong with wanting to come home. Nothing wrong with her wanting to come home. So we'll see how it goes. It's gonna be fascinating to see how the golf team goes because there's some pretty good teams in the CIAA in golf, man. Really good teams.
I'm not surprised about that.
All right. Any last thoughts before we close out?
The Big South Ohio Valley Conference announced Media Day, so that's coming up on July the 17th. I won't be able in person, but I'll be there virtually.
So you got both, but you got both options. That's good. You got both options. That's good.
Yes.
The CIAA is all virtual. They've been on the all virtual kick for a while now.
I know the Big South obviously did it. It was virtual last year. I think the last time they did in person was 22 or 23.
That was the last time when A&T was still in the conference.
It was in Nashville, and I was going to go, but I think, matter of fact, I think SWAC Media Day might have been the same day, and that was the year I actually went to SWAC Media Day.
Speaking of that, any thoughts? Because it looks like now there's a lot more confidence. I think the CIAA and the SWAC's the same week. Any thoughts on any perspective on the fact that now there are HBCU conferences are now kind of conflicting? So now folks got to make decisions on where they're going to end up going.
Yes, as someone when you're covering as a particularly for me as a one-man operation, I think it does make you have to kind of pick and choose, which kind of sucks because you want to be able to kind of get that first view of teams and coaches and kind of get the first shot on asking them questions. And the thing, because Media Day, the thing about everybody's excited, everybody's hopeful, so everybody wants to talk to you. They're in great moods, and you can really get a lot of insight. So, when you have it at the same time, you kind of have to decide, from that standpoint, because once the season starts and some of them losses pile up, some of those interviews and those questions from those media calls, the masses get a little terse. So folks be tight about what happened on Saturday. So, it does kind of stink because you kind of want to be able to go to multiple so you can, kind of from our standpoint of, us being in HBCU media, so you can have a more holistic view of what's going on in the conferences and things of that nature. So I guess from that standpoint, it is somewhat of a negative, I guess, but they pick these days for whatever reason, because I don't, we don't control it. Kind of got to roll with the punches.
Yeah, some of it has to do with the media deals that they have too, because a lot of it's televised. So I think that's a factor. I'm pretty sure that's a factor as well. But still, I mean, it makes it tough because I know there's some folks who try to get to all four.
Yeah.
So it's kind of rough from that regard. But all right, we're gonna go ahead and close this bad boy out, so you can focus on your driving. I do not want to be held responsible. All right. Let's see. Thank you for listening to Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Make sure you share your podcast with your friends and colleagues. We look forward to next week as we discuss the latest news in the lab. Shout out to make sure you follow me on Twitter at champd1012, and you can check out sneakershoptalk.com for Brandon King. Follow Dr. Kenyatta Cavil on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and make sure you follow Inside the HBCU Sports Lab 1 on Facebook and Inside the HBCU Sports Lab on YouTube. Dream big and continue to move forward. We'll talk to you soon. Brandon.
Of course.
Lecture.
Dismissed.